Hey guys, Stealth here. Welcome to the War Room. It's episode 23, and for starters I want to thank all of you guys who commented last week on my Navy predicament. I can say I'm a bit further with it. I have done a lot of pros and cons on whether I should be joining the Navy. Right now I'm going towards no, because as one of my friends pointed out, suppose that your business was doing a lot better than it is now, would you still make the same choice? My answer was no. I would not go for the Navy in that situation, because I enjoy the freedom that I have too much, and I love working on my business that way, and if I can get more of the business done, of course that would be wonderful. So right now I'm gearing towards no, and I would love to thank all of you guys, I'd like to thank all of you guys, of course, for all your insightful comments. A lot of stuff that I hadn't even considered before you guys brought it up, so very, very much appreciate that. One of you guys mentioned that I should travel, by the way. This seems to be let's say a recurring theme when making a decision. If you know what to do, just travel. And by seeing new things, talking to new people, clearing your head that way, you can get to better decision making. And I think there's something to be said for that. But what most people seem to skip over is that traveling, let's say for 2 to 3 months, needs 2 to 3 months. Which means that if you have a job, you're either going to have to build up a lot of vacation days, or you're going to have to quit your job. And of course it takes quite a bit of money, which currently is in rather short supply on my end. So I'm afraid I won't be doing that. But it's something that I have been going over with, especially with my girlfriend. She's also in a bit of a dark pass, and she also really wants to get away from everything. We just don't know how and where, so I don't know. I don't expect we go anywhere soon, but if you do find this channel empty for at least a little while, that might be why. But don't worry, I'll probably put up a video before any of that happens, and again, I don't expect it to happen anytime soon. Another issue that I wanted to talk with you guys about this week is something that my brother brought up, actually. It's his birthday today, he turned 25, and he said that he has a bit of a lack of direction lately. He said for the past, let's say 25 years, more or less, he's had someone who tells him what to do, when to do it, how to do it, etc. So, let's say high school, primary school, you got your teachers to tell you that you need to do this, you need to have it done by then, you need to fix this, you need to make that test, you need to apply for that job. And at some point that just seems to stop. You have that through college as well. He joined one of the, I suppose you could call it a fraternity, although I'm not sure that really does it justice. A fraternity, and again, you have a sort of, let's say a command structure almost, where people tell you, okay, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to have done by then. There's a clear hierarchy, a clear point, a clear structure. And after a while, that just disappears. There's no more people telling you you need to do this, or you need to fix that, or do this and that'll happen. And that's something I had pretty much exactly the same attitude towards a couple of years ago. I'm not going to be able to say that I'm much further nowadays, but one of my realizations, and I don't mean this to come across as some sort of preacher or I know better than you, but one of my realizations a couple of years ago was the cavalry isn't coming. And that's pretty much exactly the way that I got it in my mind. The cavalry isn't coming. There is no one who's gonna come to your aid, who's gonna tell you what to do, who's gonna give you direction. You're on your own. And on the one hand, that is a sort of saddening realization, like, oh god, who the hell am I going to fall back on when shit goes sour? Sometimes there's no one. And much as it is a bit of tough love, that's the way that I think it is. And he is pretty much arriving at that point right now, where he has no direction, no clear, this is what I want to do with my life, or this is what I don't want to do with my life. And maybe some of you have the same issues. You're thinking, okay, I don't know, anywhere between 18 and 35. That seems to be the majority of my viewers. I'm anywhere between 18 and 35, and I have no idea what to do with my life, or how to do it, or what I want to get out of my life. Welcome to adult life. we hope you enjoy your stay for the next 60 to 80 years. Because, at least for me, that's what it's been like. Not too much direction. I veered around, or I swung around quite a lot, especially when I was still doing online marketing, where I used to switch from one website to another in a matter of weeks. It did get me the skill of being able to set up websites very, very quickly, and knowing exactly what to do, how to manage WordPress, which is one of those, let's say, internet control systems or website control systems. A content management system is the official term. But other than that, you just keep going for the, as some people call it, the shiny new object syndrome. Just keep going for, okay, maybe this is going to work, maybe that's going to work. And even now, with the whole body language business that I'm running, I'm reconsidering my target audience. Because my target audience right now is sales professionals. And while I think that sales professionals still can learn a lot from what I have to share and can make a lot of money if they really apply what I'm sharing in the right way, they are just so damn cocky from time to time. They just know everything a lot better than you do. And of course, since I'm almost 28, so I'm 27 right now, people are always going, who are you? And why do you think you can tell me anything? And last week, I was doing a presentation. It was Tuesday. I was doing a presentation for a bunch of lawyers and mediators. And someone came up to me after the presentation. It was only 20 minutes. It wasn't long. And they said, you know, when you first started talking, or when you walked up to the stage, I had no idea that it was going to be this good. You really are a natural. And I was like, what? What? I only do this for about a year. I used to be one of those kids back in high school who was terrified of giving presentations, who was terrified of being in the spotlights. But I don't know, at some point you just flip a switch and you become, I don't know, you become someone else. Sometimes it almost feels like role-playing, that I'm not actually me, but I'm looking at someone else when I'm giving those body language presentations. Anyway, where were we? I'm drifting all over the place this week. Yes, the lack of direction and the cavalry isn't coming. If you have that idea, I don't think you're alone in that. I think a lot of people don't really know what to do, how to do it, and we just, I don't know, we just do stuff. Again, reminds me of the Joker from The Dark Knight. Do I really look like a guy with a plan? I don't think many people have a clear plan. And if they do, then that's wonderful. But I think that then you run into the old adage of no battle plan ever survives first contact with the enemy. When you think you got it all figured out, and that's when life throws a curveball. That's when, I don't know, the tax people come after you. That's when you mess up. That's when you get a car accident or whatever. So a lot can go wrong. And at some point you could say, well, you can plan for this, you can plan for that. Yeah, sure, but some things you just cannot plan for, and you just have to make the best of it. Anyway, let's leave it there for the philosophy this week. Let me know what you think about these things, by the way, because I just feel like I'm sometimes just rambling on, just clearing my mind. If that's not something you like, just let me know in the comments, and I'll redirect these War Room episodes in a different way. For example, more actually towards the military strategy and military tactics. But I think that these topics is something, or are something that we all struggle with from time to time. Not knowing what to do, how to do it, etc. So if you have any thoughts on that, just let me know in the comments. Other things that happened last week. Someone asked me, what do you think about War Thunder? If you play World of Tanks and Armored Warfare, you probably like War Thunder. Well, I played War Thunder a little bit. I'm not sure why I stopped. I think I was playing War Thunder, and then another game that I was looking forward to came out. Maybe it was World of Warships or something like that. And I don't know, especially the War Thunder realistic battles, I just have no bloody clue what's going on. People, especially on YouTube, people have replays going up there where you can just see enemies from miles away. And I'm just like, what? Is that a... I think that's a tree. And they go, nope, that's a tank. Okay, yeah, right. And they shoot, and they instantly kill it. And I'm like, what? How did you see that? I don't know. I just don't see that shit. So, at least War Thunder Realistic for me, not too good. War Thunder Arcade, or what's the other one? Simulation or Simulator, or let's say the middle ground. I played it a little bit, mostly ground forces. I don't know, I just didn't like it too much. Didn't really resonate for me. Another game that was uttered in last week's War Room was Jagged Alliance 2. I had a look at it, I never played it. I heard the title thrown about a few times, but I never played it. And I gotta say, it looks old. The game looks really, really old. Not that old games aren't any good anymore. I mean, Red Alert, Command & Conquer Generals, they look really, really old, and I can still play the hell out of those. But Jagged Alliance, for now I'm not going to be looking into that, because I found another game that I might actually be featuring on the channel. I'm just not sure how and in what form. It's called Factorio. It's a game that was in my Steam Discover queue a while ago, and I went like, whoa, yeah, no. Doesn't really have any good graphics, doesn't really have any thing that looks interesting to me, so skip it. But then I looked at the reviews, because lately it came up again. I think it was discounted or something like that. It came up again, and I noticed that it had 99% positive ratings. 99%. And I thought, well, okay, if it has 99% positive rating, then surely there are just not that many reviews. Well, there's 5,800 people claiming it's a great game. So 99% out of those 5,800 people thinks it's a great game. So I decided to download that. I played around a little bit with it yesterday, and the basic gameplay, I don't know, somebody described it as it's like the love child between SimCity and Minecraft, while talking to what was it again? Transport Tycoon, and some other games thrown in, which I thought was a very interesting combination. And I don't know, I only played it for about 90 minutes yesterday, so hour and a half, and I'm hooked. You just, I don't know. Somebody said that if you want to have a free life, if you want to have a life, if you want to have free time, don't get this game. I initially thought, well, yeah, maybe I should be getting this, and the next day I still wanted it, so I got it anyway. The graphics, again, aren't really that spectacular, but once you get into it and you start to design a factory, because that's basically what it is. Factorio means you're building factories. And these factories, for example, you have to dig up coal. You can first do that with a pickaxe, and then you can turn that into a machine. You can automate the whole thing. Then you can start to go for iron ore, for example. And the whole situation just develops from there, up to the point where you get, I think, the ability to develop tanks, but I'm nowhere near that yet. There is a demo, by the way. You can download that from Steam. Anyway, one of the reviews that really struck me as funny was this one. Someone wrote, "First time I played this game, I started playing, I went to the toilet and got something to drink on the way back to the computer. My girlfriend came to me to ask if I shouldn't go to work. I told her I don't work on Saturdays. She tells me it's Tuesday. I try to go find the nearest conveyor belt to my workplace." And the conveyor belt is one of the most important things in the game, by the way. It transports everything between your different facilities. So he said, "I tried to find a conveyor belt to my workplace. Give up, sit down, play some more. Next day, it's suddenly Tuesday again." That's how much time you can sink into this game. So be very, very wary if you want to take a stab at this game. Anyway, this week I'll be doing more of the Wargame Red Dragon mystery decks. I gotta say, I'm really enjoying those, because they force me to play in different ways than I normally do. Especially because some of the decks don't have the normal composition that I'm particularly used to. And stuff like that keeps me on my toes, so I think it's a good change of pace. As for the questions that came in last week, Stealth, what's your opinion on current migrant policy in Europe? I'm sorry, I just don't know enough about that to have a clear opinion. I don't follow actualities. I don't follow a lot of stuff like that, and I'm sorry, but I just don't have enough information to have a clear-cut opinion on that. And I think that sometimes more people should feel free enough to be able to say that. Like, okay, sorry, I just don't know enough about this. Instead of hearing 5 minutes of news about it and just having an opinion and feeling that they need to run off and tell everyone about that. Other question that came in, why do you dislike World War II titles such as Man at War? Man at War, I don't know, it's probably like Wargame in the sense that it has a steep learning curve, and I never decided to go for that learning curve. For me, it's still a very, very confusing game. There's just a lot going on. And the interface sometimes seems a bit clunky, where, for example, you can pick up weapons from deceased soldiers, and I'm like, what? Where? I don't even see the deceased guys. And I was playing it with a couple of friends, I think a year, maybe 1.5 years back, and he just went, well, look, it's right there. And I was like, what? I just couldn't see it, I couldn't find it. Frustrates the hell out of me. So, I don't know. It's probably just me, but I didn't really find it that interesting. And last question for this week is, what's your wish list for the next war game? I'd want to have it, let's say, with units up to 2015. Say, maybe with the F-35 and the F-22 as prototype units. Aside from that, I don't really know about too many of the modern military units. I would definitely want to have a co-op campaign, like the ones that we had in Airland Battle. Those were interesting. Other things that I'd love to have in there. I think the naval element is interesting, but maybe it should be separate, like it is in the campaign. You're not too likely to have naval units inside the same map. Of course, some campaigns still have that, but not too many. Other than that, I think Wargame is doing a great job. Maybe we need to have something like more focus on ranked matchmaking, where you don't have to sit in a lobby quite as long. But then again, ranked matchmaking calls for a specific type of tactic. I mean, I never dabbled in it, I never tried it, but for me it just was never too interesting. But I'm really interested to see what kind of gameplay you would like to see on the next wargame. So if you have any questions or any insights on that, let me know in the comments. And aside from that, that's it for this week's War Room. I just don't have much more to talk about. So if you have any great topics for next week, let me know in the comments, and I'll be seeing you soon. Thanks for watching. See you next video.